Well, greetings, Pastor Eric here from Zion Lutheran Church in beautiful Redmond, and it's day 33 out of 40. And yesterday we looked at Caiaphas in the first part of the trial of Jesus, the inside job of looking at how Jesus went to the cross and to death. Today we're looking at Pilate, the Roman governor of Jerusalem, and after the Jewish folks charged him with blasphemy, they sent him on to Pilate. Pilate is a very fascinating person that is especially told about in the Gospel of Matthew from the middle of chapter 18 to the middle of chapter 19. And Pilate, you probably know this, but he's the only person that is outside of Mary and Jesus that we mention every Sunday in the Creed when we worship. In both the Apostles' and Nicene Creed, we say that Jesus suffered under Pontius Pilate. We don't mention anybody else other than Mary and Jesus and God and the Spirit. But in terms of people, we only mention Pilate other than Mary and Joseph. So his name lives on. Pilate's a guy who shouldn't have did what he did, but he did. You know, when we ever say to ourselves, I shouldn't have done that, but I did. I shouldn't have said that, but I did. I shouldn't have thought that, but I did. You can think of that's Pilate living on in you. Pontius Pilate was the Roman governor of Judea. He was a rising political star. He was one step away from the Roman Senate, and all that stood in the way from him in the way of him being a Roman senator was how he succeeded in ruling over Judea, the small podunk province of which he was Roman. In the early years of Jesus' ministry, Pilate found no reason to move against him or squash his ministry because most of the ministry of Jesus during the time of Pilate was done out of his jurisdiction. When he was within Pilate's jurisdiction in Jerusalem, Jesus caused a stir with the Jewish leaders and priests and Pharisees, and so Pilate saw Jesus as a threat to the Roman state. It wasn't just a passing thing, but it may have threatened the Roman security and its grip over the region. So Caiaphas, we talked about yesterday, had Jewish arrested during the festival of the unleavened bread while he was in Jerusalem. Caiaphas and his cronies put Jesus through a speedy trial and sentenced him to death by claiming to be the Messiah, but really for no civil or political reasons, and for that they needed Pilate. Pilate was the only Roman leader who could execute a death sentence against Jesus for civil or political reasons. So the Jewish leaders thought, let's charge him with subversion to the government by refusing to pay taxes, which Jesus didn't really say, or claiming to be king of the Jews, which Jesus did say. It was for those civil and legal and political reasons that they brought Jesus to Pilate, because on political grounds, the Jewish folks couldn't sentence him to death. It had to be a Roman political, civil, legal death sentence. What's interesting in John, the way John handles it, is between the 18th chapter of John and the 19th chapter. I encourage you to read that today. Because the trial before Pilate takes up the equivalence of an entire chapter in John's story. At the beginning of chapter 18, Judas betrays Jesus. At the end of 19, Jesus is crucified. So Pilate occupies half of John's story between the betrayal of Judas and the death of Jesus. Pretty major stuff. As you read those verses between the middle of 18 and middle of 19, there are 7 scenes in the trial before Pilate. In scene 1, Jesus is brought before Pilate and charges are made. Pilate tries to pass him back to the Jewish leaders and say, judge him according to the Jewish law. They refuse. In scene 2, Pilate asks Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" which would be reason for Pilate to judge him. But Jesus makes no answer, remember? Jesus made no answer. In scene 3, Pilate tries to get Jesus released by asking the Jewish people whether they want to release Barabbas or Jesus. And they say, "Release for us Barabbas." In scene 4, Jesus is flogged with the hope that that violent punishment would be sufficient. Pilate's plan fails. He tries to get out of it, but he doesn't follow through on it. In scene 5, Pilate presents Jesus to them and he says, "I find no basis for these charges against Jesus," because Pilate doesn't want to have Jesus crucified, but there's always a but in Pilate's story, because he kind of tries to get out of it, but he didn't do enough to really get out of it. In scene 6, Pilate hands Jesus over, so he becomes complicit and guilty. In scene 7, Pilate is reminded that his first priority is his loyalty to the Roman Empire, and so Pilate surrenders Jesus to be crucified, and the whole drama comes full circle and is complete. An innocent man is condemned to death. Pilate didn't mean to do that, but in the end, he did. So, whatever happened to Pilate? Well, his political career faltered and failed. His wife turned against him. In fact, his wife likely became a Christian. In the midst of the trial of Jesus, when Pilate was sitting in the judgment seat, his wife sent a message to him saying, "Have nothing to do with that innocent man, because in a dream last night I suffered much on account of him." He didn't mean to do it, but he didn't mean that it should turn out that way, but it did. So we say, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified and died and was buried. Pilate tried to avoid responsibility for his decisions, which is tough because sometimes we do the same thing. Pilate tried to manipulate the situation and assert his own blamelessness and innocence. But Pilate never learned that you never do wrong when you do the right thing. And in doing so, when he did the wrong thing, he didn't do the right thing, he did the wrong thing, and he put Jesus to death, who was blameless and innocent. Pilate bears the responsibility for giving him up to be responsibility. He took the easy way out. It's never too late to do the right thing for us. We need to continue to do the right thing, to follow Jesus, not to make excuses like Pilate. "Well, I didn't mean to, but..." Well, he did. He did. We too are held responsible. We too need to make good decisions that have long-term good consequences for us and for those around us. So, I want to read to you from Jesus Calling, May 19th. "I want you to know about how safe and secure you are in my presence. That is a fact totally independent of your feelings. You are on your way to heaven. Nothing can prevent you from reaching that destination, because there you will see me face to face, and your joy will be off the charts by any earthly standards. Even now, you are never separated from me, though you must see me through eyes of faith. I will walk with you till the end of time and onward into eternity. Although my presence is a guaranteed promise, that doesn't necessarily change your feelings. When you forget I am with you, you may experience loneliness or fear. It's through awareness of my presence that peace displaces negative feelings. Practice the discipline of walking consciously with me through every day." That's it for day 33. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on day 34, when we start to look at the 3 words of Jesus from the cross in the Gospel of John. So until then, you take care. Bye-bye.